What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. So it's Saturday. What time is it on a Saturday? Saturday noon. It's noontime right now, right? We were live last night, having a good time, had some drinks, and I was relaxing. Wasn't sure if I was gonna do any content, and I was surfing YouTube, just scrolling, and I happened to see Poetic Flacco's new video. Right now, at least for us in California, the big deal, the big news, the attention grabber is the indictment on Big U. And during this whole roundup of the people that are in that indictment, Bric Baby was locked up. He was incarcerated. Loose Cannon, Big U, and I guess some other people, right? Well, Poetic Flacco, you guys can go over there. I watched the video. He put out a video this morning or today, and this is the title. I'm probably going to name my video the exact same thing. It's called Wack 100 calls Bric Baby a snitch after seeing his indictment. And before I go any further, I have a question. Has anybody ever stopped and asked themselves, how come Poetic Flacco never studies? How come Poetic Flacco never stutters on his own show, on his own videos? But let him get in front of the no jumper cameras and right. It's crazy. He goes on any other platform and he just can't get it out. But in his own platform, and people say it's editing, I don't see a lot of cuts. Is it a character? Yeah, that's a weird character to create, right? But he said that it turns out Bric Baby's not even named in the Big U indictment. He's not part of that. It's a separate case, this and that. That isn't why I'm doing this video. I sat there and I listened, right? I wasn't even looking at the screen. I had the phone down and I'm just letting it play and I'm listening. And Wack 100 is on the phone and Bric Baby's on a podcast. I don't know what podcast. Like I said, I wasn't looking. He's on a podcast. Wack 100 calls in and he's saying, oh, you got picked up at this time and you're still out and this and that and this and that and this and that. And look, as someone who, I used to be a crook, I used to be a criminal, a gangster, whatever, somebody who was involved in a lot of violence in prison, somebody who had to interact with other people, other races, factions in prison. I had to sometimes engage them in conversations. One thing you never do, one thing that is never done, is you don't ask another faction, another group, for their paperwork. It's not your fucking business. That could actually lead to everyone going at it. And I take a step back and I just think, Wack 100 went on another podcast, a Raza podcast, and told those men to their faces that Southerners are allowed to rat. In real life, that type of accusation is supposed to be met with violence, right? It wasn't, but it's supposed to be. If people are involved in that life, because it's a fucking lie. And basically he's saying, you guys right now that I'm talking to are rats. That's what he's saying. That's what he said on film. It's on the internet. And on this one, he's basically telling Bric Baby, a Crip, that he's a rat. I see people throwing around certain terminology that has to do with prison. I see them, and they do it on the internet, right? And they're talking about people that are not in, well, first of all, they wouldn't even be in a faction that they were in prison. But if we put them in prison, they're talking about people that they couldn't talk about if they were in that world. If they were really in that world, if you feel you know something about somebody, then you know not to do business with them, right? But in no way, in no situation would you approach somebody from another faction, another race, another ethnicity, and question them that way or accuse them of certain things, because it would be met with violence. So I go back to this video. I'm listening to it, and I'm literally laughing out loud that Bric Baby is allowing a Pyru. Bric Baby as a Crip is allowing a Pyru to question him. And he's literally sitting there and carrying on a discussion. When Bric Baby as a Crip being questioned should have just said, well, you know, you see where I'm at right now, right? Just hang your phone up and bring it. That's all that should have been said. But instead, it was made into content. And this is why these indictments happen, man. People are playing games with something that they obviously aren't really a part of. There is no real gangster, whether he's Crip, Blood, Southerner, Northerner, Bulldog, Kumi. Here in California, there was not one gangster, anyone that in any of those factions, those groups, whatever you want to call them, that is going to allow someone, period, but especially someone outside of their group, to question them, to insinuate that they're an informant, they're a rat, or anything else. I think what's going to wind up happening is all these guys on social media that keep pretending, that keep flirting with convict codes and convict mentalities and convict laws and keep trying to bring them into social media. Those guys that really enforce those laws, they're going to start enforcing those laws that you keep flirting with and you don't know nothing about. And if that happens, things are going to get very ugly, very violent, very fast. My advice to you, those of you that keep flirting with these prison rules, wanting to live by prison rules, take your fucking ass to prison, man. The beauty of the world out here, the food, the women, the weather, the ability to decide, get up today and say, you know what? I'm going to Hawaii. You know what? I'm going to go to Europe. You know what? I'm going to go to Vegas. You know what? I'm going to fuck the shit out of my lady. You don't get to do that in there. Stop fucking playing prison rules on the streets. Go to prison. I mean, it's really that simple, man. Those of us that did time there, that did real time and really did fuck around in that world, you don't hear us wanting to live by that type of stuff. We understand how serious it is. We appreciate the world out here. We are grateful for this opportunity. This big U indictment isn't going to be the last one. This other dude, I might do a video on him. Out of Oakland, Julio, some dude named Julio. He got on the internet. He got on one of these platforms and was bragging about killing 19 people. He just got arrested. The internet is not for everybody, man. I think people think it's make-believe until them handcuffs get put on them. Or something else. The cool thing is, it's like when you're on the freeway and you're trying to get to work on time and traffic is not moving whatsoever. And an hour later, you figure out why. Because someone's fucking tire popped on the side of the freeway and everybody had to slow down and look at that tire. That's what the internet is. That's what social media is. They look at these dudes that are crashing out, as they like to call it now, and they can't get enough of it. Meanwhile, there are videos on YouTube that could teach you how to become a millionaire. People don't want to see that. There are videos on YouTube that can motivate you to be a better man, a better woman, a better parent, a better person. Nah, they don't want that either. They're unhappy with their situation, but they don't want to watch the videos that'll help them out of the situation. Instead, they want to look at somebody in a worse situation and say, well, fuck, at least I'm doing better than them. Yeah, for about 15 minutes while you're watching that video. And then when that video ends, there you are. You're still there. So those of you that do get on the internet, get on YouTube, get on all these platforms and you look for content that's going to help you be a better you, I just want to acknowledge you, man. That's impressive. I know this video is kind of all over the place, but when I just, I saw the Wack doing that to Bric, and it reminded me of when he went on the Raza platform. I'm not going to say the name. It's not about that. It's just mind-blowing to me that Wack 100 knows the get down. He knows damn well Raza aren't allowed to rat on nobody. But that's not the important thing. The important thing was the buzz that he brings up. He knows damn well if he was in the joint, he wouldn't be confronting anyone, asking them for their paperwork. He could ask one of the Pacoima Pyru Bloods, maybe. He ain't asking no Crip. Promise you that. He ain't asking no Southerner, no Northerner, no Kumi, no whites, no others, no AMIs. No siree. But here on the internet, it's all legal. And it's impressive to those that don't know any better. That's my video for today, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out of here.